Welcome to MotoGP Mac, where MotoGP fans come to congregate and fanboy spirited tread. How you making out, Mac? We got a lot of news today. Fast and
We did.
furious.
We got a nice surprise this morning. But just a little bit of housekeeping before we get cracking. So we're filming this on Thursday the 13th.
Okay.
It's Thursday the 13th, yeah, not Sunday or whatever. So, things may change by the time you hear this on Monday. I am away for the weekend in London town with the fam bam. I need to make up after
Yeah.
a long Isle of Man TT.
He's crawling out of the doghouse to sleep,
Yeah. Crawling, on my hands and knees out of the doghouse, but it's just fine, So videos might be kind of, let's just say, evergreen videos that have happened to appear over the next couple of days. But yeah, anyway. So with that, also we want to wish CB, he's having a bit of a tough time with the bike crash. Especially when you see a cracked frame. Never mind the body heals. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The frame is yeah. Anyway, look, just thinking everybody, and hope you feel better both physically and emotionally with everything as soon as possible. So, anyway, Maverick Vinales, what the fuck have you done?
Well, man, I mean, it's KTM. They're respectable. It ain't like he went on a Honda.
I would actually nearly say, fair play to him for going to Honda. Do you know what I mean?
They check out of it, what?
But I think money had to do with his move to KTM too.
Yeah.
Like I genuinely believe that. I think Jorge Martin hoovered up a bit of the budget, and Mav might have had to take a pay cut. Now, look, the problem I have here, right, and again, someone said about the comments of me calling Mark disloyal and this, that, and the other, right? Maverick came out recently and said, I'm financially secure for the rest of my life, right? In an interview on TNT Sports. So, and he went on about the motivation is winning, racing and winning, and it's not financial and whatever. And I have, when I read it, right, about him leaving, I was like, a little bit sus, It's kind of one of two things for me. Either he's run away from the battle with Martin, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or it is a financial thing. And when I look at things like Aprilia, especially with Rivola is very loyal to his riders, right? And he's put up with Maverick's inconsistency and says to Maverick, no matter who we sign, you will be the next captain anyway, regardless. Do you know what I mean? You're there.
That would have rubbed wrong too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think Maverick was made safe and feels safe in that team. Just worry about performance. Don't worry about anything else. You're wanted within this team. We want to have you. We want to keep you. And then he goes, and look, you can't say there's no rider in this world would turn down 20 million easily, right? So if Honda were going to give him 10, 15, 20 million, it would definitely turn your head for a few minutes and say, okay, do you know what I mean?
And you know what? It sounded like Revolt, right when he started this, when he said he's retiring, he's leaving, that he knew it. He said, we know, we'd like to keep him, but we know, we will give him the best, as a send off. He kind of knew it. You can see in his eyes. He knew he was losing.
Yeah. So for me, that kind of hints at more of a pay cut than anything, right? I don't think
he knew he couldn't match it. He knew they were going there for a retirement program, like a Spargo.
Well, yeah, yes and no. Look, I think there was a couple of things. I think he was very pissed off at with them saying, "Oh, Joe, you're going to be our new captain and all of this stuff," yet you won't sign the contract. Do you know what I mean? I do think Aprilia were holding him out to say, okay, let's see what happens with Martin. Joe, if we can't get Martin, we get Bastianini. Do you know what I mean? Bastianini won't be as expensive as Martin, so maybe we can give Maverick a few more dollars or whatever. So I think I think that was a bit of a frustration, but I also find it far more interesting that he's leaving a team that adore him. Do you know what I mean? The bike is performing really well. Do you know what I mean? It's to a really good standard. To go to a team that is known to be either perform or you're out the fucking door, right?
Yeah.
And
I don't really think they're that bad, but everybody calls them ruthless. I
but
don't think
they are
you're getting out
like,
$1 million contracts. You better perform. I'm sorry.
you do, but right, you don't see any other manager or team principal or whatever calling their riders out for not performing. Do you know what I mean? But Byron do it like fucking that, like boom. You want to pick up your fucking, do you know what I mean? And that alone, that
Or just
publicly
cut the same cloth. Yeah.
yeah, but publicly put, if there's a difference between going into a room and saying, you better fucking perform, and then publicly going out to the press and saying, well, Maverick is not performing, he needs to pull his socks up if he wants to sign another contract. That's a whole different kind of piss altogether. Do you know what I mean?
Actually, that when you do that and you embarrass somebody like that, it's derogatory. It doesn't help.
It does, but that's my point. But it sets the relationship down a path where there's no real coming back. The trust is gone when they do that, right? So for me, Maverick is not one of the most consistent riders out there. So why would you jump into that frying pan? Do you know what I mean? You're nice in your silk bed. Do you know what I mean? Why would you get out and go into a fucking frying pan where you're now going to sweat the balls off yourself for every bad race that you do? And let's be fair, Maverick Vinales does more I won't say bad races, but off-form races a year than on-form races.
I was surprised when he said, "Oh, you're going to be the captain," because Martin's coming in there. He's going to be chief cook and bottle washer, and he should be. Okay.
Yeah, but you see, I think he promised that to Maverick when they weren't certain that they were going to get Martin.
Well, that's true. That's true. That could have been.
But then saying
public anymore, I would come back and say, "Listen," and like you say in the back room, say, "Remember, I said you were going to be chief cook and bottle washer." Well, now you have this guy coming in, right?
Well, now you have to beat this guy.
You know it. I know it. He's.
Yeah, but I think it's just a case of, well, now you have to beat him. You know what I mean? You want it, you need to beat him. So look, I don't think it is. But I think that was a big factor. I think there is a financial thing there. Like for example, Aprilia could get Digi Antonio, Mir, Bezzecchi. They could get any of those riders very cheap in a rider salary, sort of something like €1 million. Do you know what I mean? Maverick is probably demanding somewhere between 5 and 7 million easy. Do you know what I mean?
And David Emmett said that Martin was getting 4 or 5 million. So I can't. He's really shooting.
I think asking
for 7.
I think I think you need to be careful with base when people are putting out base salaries, because it could be 5 million base, but it could be fucking €1 million a race win. Do you know what I mean?
No, wait, he wasn't. He was talking about base. Yeah, they're talking about base.
So it's just one of those things. Things. So look, for me, I think it didn't come as a surprise. We mentioned before that he was negotiating with Honda and KTM. We didn't think KTM was a viable option, and I think Herbie Poncharal is actually right in what he says in that Pedro Acosta has made the Tech 3 KTM or Gas a really, really interesting project now, because people are saying, this is the actual fucking performance of the bike, right? So like you're looking at Bastianini and you're looking at Maverick saying, actually, I can get the fucking best out of this bike too, right? Which could be another reason, but I would be fairly confident that Mav has either run away from the fight or is getting paid a significant amount more by KTM, a bike that is performing over Honda. I don't think he's getting as much as offered as Honda, but I think for instance, he is getting a good chunk more than what he was offered at Aprilia. So that's my thoughts on it. I won't say I was I was surprised with what happened, but I wasn't surprised with I wasn't surprised. Like it didn't come like, holy shit, I didn't realize he was talking to KTM. Do you know what I mean? We knew he was talking to KTM.
Yeah.
So yeah, but look, again, it just seems one of those two things. He either ran away from the fight, or not. So yeah, interesting, funny how silly season kicks off and all of these things are going, but then we did say kind of these are the 3 weeks where an awful lot of this is going to be sorted out.
Everything's gonna flow fast and furious. By the way,
Yeah.
it was TNT Sports or Sports Center. They got their numbers from Forbes for these salaries, and I haven't even tried to look. But if you want to look at that,
Yeah.
Forbes got them somehow. Yeah.
Look, it's
Supposedly. That shit flies in Forbes. Things like Forbes, it flies in and flies out. You gotta catch it. Yeah.
Like rider salaries realistically are like, how many times does a horse knickers go up and down?
Yeah.
Or does some don't even fucking wear them. So, look, you can never really believe it. On like, you can ballpark it and spitball it, and you can kind of say, okay, well, Marky Marquez there with Honda, right? He was selling 100,000, 250,000 bikes, 500,000 t-shirts. Do you know what I mean? He's probably getting 20 million. Do you know what I mean? Whereas,
and once they're financially secure, they're worried about winning races, not.
And that's what I find. That's what I find very interesting, right? Because for Maverick said, "I'm financially secure." On TNT in an interview, and he's like, "My only motivation is to come and win races." And you're probably on the second best bike on the grid, and you go to maybe the third best bike on the grid. Do you know what I mean? So I just find it peculiar. But
Somebody made a good point. I knew it did, but anyhow, he said he was always going on. He's been on 3 manufacturers, but they were all bikes that were good at turning. He said now he's going to go on KTM, which is more of a point and shoot bike. So it's going to be a learning experience for him, and he's going up against 3 other top riders. And
that's the thing. Yeah, that's a true point. Like, and look, we know that he doesn't adapt fast. Do you know?
Yeah.
Now, saying that, okay, we'll give him a bit on the Aprilia because he was moving to a V from the inline. Okay. I don't know. He reminds me of a style like Lorenzo, and he likes a butter style, smooth as butter, and KTM is an angry motherfucker. Like, do you know what I mean? And it fucking ain't smooth. Like even when you're looking at Acosta, that thing is fucking dancing all over the place, and I'm not sure that'll suit Mav. Yamaha.
I don't know about this because now it's I'm not positive about this now because it was carbon fiber, but when you had the tube chassis, the metal tube chassis, the chrome moly chassis, a chrome moly tube chassis, you got to tune them things well. That you got to have them dead on the money, have them spot on. I don't know if he's good enough to do such spot on.
Look. I would think he is. Look, I think he's a fair knowledge of what he wants to do. Like if you do look at it, right, he has.
It is down to the engineers, which people don't understand, but.
Yeah, but look, he does have a good feel. Like he said, like this is going to be his 4th different manufacturer. Do you know what I mean? I think he'll have a good understanding of what he wants. But again, that's the problem though with Maverick is that it takes some time to learn something. Is
he taking his engineer with him? I haven't heard of that at all.
No one has mentioned anything about that. But look, again, it's silly season, the height of it. For me, when I look at it, I'm just like, I don't know. Is that a good move or is that not such a good move? And I'm more so leaning, if I'm honest, on it's not such a good move for him. For the longevity of his career, definitely.
Yes, I don't think so either. I'm right with you on that.
Yeah, so other than that, kind of like when we're looking at it, the riders market now is very, very different, you know. Obviously you have Aprilia, you've Jorge Martin in Aprilia, to be TBC on the other side of the garage, you know, Ducati, who have Pecco and Marky Marquez. You know, you have KTM Factory. Well, they're both KTM Factory now, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
So you have Binder and Acosta, and you have Bastianini.
So there's no more gas at all.
There'll be no more gas. It's going to be tech.
And I just bought 2 shirts. Cost me $5 a piece.
Oh,
yeah.
You sure you're not going to fucking eat for a month, are you? Food stamps.
I think I'll be okay.
Yamaha, Fabio Quartararo, and Marini is in Honda. Joe Grassini and VR46 obviously have no one yet confirmed. Now, look.
Hey, well, I just one question for you. Or if you've heard any news. Not Mir, Rins. Rins is on Yamaha. But they're saying that he's limping around and the leg is not healing, and he's talking about retirement.
I didn't hear that. I heard that he was actually more nailed on to stay with Yamaha.
This is a reputable site.
Yeah, look, I just don't know what's going on with Rins. I think look, it could be an injury. I think he's more likely to stay with Yamaha, if I'm very honest. You know, I think
he's still limping around. That ain't good.
Well, look, yeah, look, that's not good. Kind of
that should not last that long.
Well, yeah, but look, I think
you know what I mean? They pin everything now.
They do, but maybe he's chosen to get the pin taken out. You know what I mean? And then that caused problems too and whatnot. But what I've heard is that he's either on his. So he's going to be reconfirmed in Yamaha or it's Aprilia, but I don't know.
He has one more. Does he have one more year or?
No, he's out this year. So
he's out this year.
So he's out this year. Yeah.
I have mixed up Rins and Mir since day one.
Yeah. Mir, like for me, like when I look at it, obviously we don't have like there's still a lot of spots left to be confirmed. Right, counting.
What do you think about
maybe 11
Enea on KTM? I have my thoughts on it. I'll hear yours first, or you want me to go first?
I think he'll be fine on it. I think I think he doesn't mind the bike moving underneath him. Do you know what I mean? I think he's an aggressive rider, so I think he will be fine. Do I think he's going to shine like a diamond in the gold sass? Not sure on it.
I love this. I love the Irish things. Anyhow,
yeah.
It's a little personal thing. Yeah. Anyhow.
That little thing, you know?
My favorite girlfriend. Anyhow, I was thinking the same thing. There's 2 sides of that coin. I said, well, one thing, he don't mind that bike swirling around, okay? And he tries to get that bike. The reason his tires don't wear is he tries to get the thing off the edge quick. He tries to get the up corner quick. But on the other side, by his own admissions, he goes, I leave everything up to the engineers. They do it. They set it up. I just go. They just tell me to ride it. You know, they're the black and he's the black and yellow tape rider, the safety tape rider. There it is. When we're done, go ride it. Now, he's going, you know, from a bike that handles real well to something that's less handling, and he's not a good setup guy by his own admissions. Now,
Pedro Acosta gets on the bike and just fucking rides it.
Yeah, but can Enea do that? That's what I thought.
But that's what I think. Like, I think he can because he's an aggressive rider. My only worry about Enea is that he doesn't bounce well. That's it.
No, well, he had one break. It was a bad break. We didn't know what it was. The shoulder blade, which is
Yeah, but you see,
a rare one. I never heard of it before.
he when he bounces, he doesn't come back well on it. You know what I mean? Like
What
you
else did he
won't see
break
him
though?
crashing the sat. Huh?
What else did he break?
No, but like even if you look at him, like when he does have an off at the weekend, even a small off it takes time to build back the confidence.
Oh,
Whereas
so we were saying it takes the wind out of him. He doesn't.
yeah, but he doesn't bounce back or doesn't
He
bounce on
doesn't
the
man
green
up
well
to it.
either. Yeah,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? So like that would be my only worry about him. But look, saying that, I'd be more worried about Maverick than Anea, if I'm very honest. Do I think Anea could put her up to Binder? I think actually this could be KTM's way of evaluating Binder. Do you know what I mean? Because Anea and Maverick are not slow,
Yeah. Right.
you know. But if Anea
Well,
comes in and starts,
Maverick is slow, and then he's not. You
he's
know.
slow till he's not. Yeah. That's another saying too. He's slow till he's not. But well, look, we've talked about Maverick and look, it's his consistency. But like, if Anea or Maverick come in, gel with the KTM straight away, and start whipping Binder, that's good night for Binder. Do you know what I mean? Unfortunately, not saying that I don't like Binder, because I actually quite do. I think he's a good rider. But I think it will answer an awful lot of questions, and as well when you look at it, how the philosophy of KTM has changed, because when they were running the satellite bikes and whatnot and whatever, and this was to bring young riders into the sport. Not fucking one young rider there now. When you
No.
look at
No.
it, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's true. Now you mentioned it. Yeah.
So they're kind of gone away from their ethos, and they're like, okay. When you look at it, okay, Pedro Costa came through. He's going to be in his second season, but I think he's in a different league than the rookies that have come in. But I think they wanted to tie him up for as long as possible. Who else? Oh, Yamaha. Fucking hell, Yamaha. Jesus Christ almighty. Do you know the way when you have no luck? Like, do you know the way
They got in a woman's prison with a carton of cigarettes, they say.
not even that, right? Do you know what I mean? You're about to get the fucking ride, about to hop on the good thing and do the bad thing with your woman, and it goes fucking down, right? It's
No,
just it's just that fucking luck. Brewers droop, right? But Yamaha, they didn't get to test in Mugello because of the rain. They
again?
were supposed. No, remember the last Mugello test that
Yeah.
was on.
Okay.
It rained, so they said, "Fuck it, we'll go, we'll go somewhere else." They arranged a 3-day private test, and it rained.
Yeah.
So they got to test fuck all. And I was just like, I was going to do a video about it, and I was like, I actually can't, because I will sound like I'm pulling the piss out of Yamaha. And as a Yamaha fan, I was fucking raging when I heard about the rain, and it was just like, Jesus Christ! Like when you have no luck, and like, this is not the first incident of rain, right? After Portimao, they were supposed to test. It
Yeah.
rained. They were doing a test in Barcelona before they were coming to Jerez, and it rained.
Yeah. I heard some else things like the race
Mugello, it
all
rained.
over the place. Yeah.
And I'm like, will you just fuck off somewhere into the Middle East and
Yeah. Go somewhere there isn't any rain. There
just,
has to be somebody that it's a dry season, you know?
just put miles on what you're trying to test, rather
Go
than trying to test.
go to Coda, whatever. Just,
Yeah, it was just like,
dry shit track.
yeah. But I would think at the moment, I think there's a lot of pressure in Yamaha, a lot of pressure, not on the performance side of it. Like, realistically, if Yamaha do not get a satellite team, they're going to be the shit next year. They're going to be in the shit, like, until they get a second team. So, like, if they don't get a team next year, it's 2026. The end of 2026 probably was when they'd have the next opportunity. So they're going to be missing a whole load of data rolling into 2027. A whole load of data. Now, saying that, Bartoloni he
They're
seems
biting
to know that.
themselves in the ass now for turning down. Tell them again, because everybody forgot that when they offered all these bikes to people, everybody turned them down, and Ducati picked them up as a favor to
To Dorna, yeah.
Dorna had to
Yeah,
pay them to pick up the bikes, and now
they did,
everybody.
yeah. But no, that's the thing. Like, look, Ducati, and look, we kind of covered this a lot.
Oh, we have, but people seem to forget it. It just
Yeah, but
goes into their head.
Ducati have the best bike on the grid, so they can now be picky at who they want to ride. I still think the whole Pramac thing, I smelt a rat from the very fucking start, right? And
Yep.
normally, when contracts are signed, teams are very excited to fucking announce it.
Yep.
Something
I
is
think they
going
will.
on.
I think they will sign for Yamaha because the deal is just too good. Pass
It
up.
is. It must be absolutely crazy. Like
And
you
you
look
don't
at,
you don't have any riders to put on them. You don't have any the aliens to
but
be over there. So what
but
the hell?
look at Tech 3, right?
Right?
Hervé Poncharal is living his best life, running. Well, obviously, he's not running the day to day of the team now anymore. He's able to retire, but he's involved in the sport that he loves. He has no major financial worry about the team because everything is fucking paid by KTM to run the team.
Right?
You know what I mean? So, and he just gets to be involved in the sport that he loves. There's absolutely nothing wrong with having a great package like that from from a factory team.
Right.
Every bike, like next year, I'm telling you this, Trackhouse Racing will have full factory equipment from the very start of next year. They will run 2025 spec bikes.
I just
So
hope
there's going to be four
the brilliant.
factory.
I said this when they went from one team, they had one team, remember, and then they went to a second. And I said, the only thing I worry about them is because they're such a small company, is the workload. Right? Because it's a lot of work when you put another team on there. And they did slip from having when they were at their best, they had just two riders. Remember? That's when they made all their big gains. Ducati, I don't think Ducati should have 8 bikes for their own good. They should have 6 bikes or 4. I was told that the Optimum is 4.
Yeah, I think look the optimum is as many as you can get, right? Because the
Well,
many
they're
of the
talking
same.
about Optimum as how much you can transfer over to how much workload it is. Because you
Yeah,
can't.
but we went through this, Jake,
Yeah.
in last week's podcast. The what you call it, the satellite spec bikes are what are they called in Italy called clientelli bikes,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that's a complete separate department. There is very little development that goes on, and if you're doing it right, which the way Ducati are doing it is 100% right. Right? You start 2024 with the start of 2023's bike.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Which they're currently doing. Halfway through 2023, you give them the upgraded 2023 when the upgraded 2024 comes. Does that make sense? So they're always a full cycle behind. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
On development, right? And at that way, then that becomes at zero major cost.
That's not how they first started. Remember, they hit their first had it turf ski, and they went back and they got upgrades from the factory all year. Remember?
They were getting so like this year. What I will expect out of it, and this is normally the way satellite worked, is that normally when the factory were finished parts or factory parts or new factory parts were given to the factory team, the satellite team would get it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But Ducati now are structuring this, and this is how I know that it's kind of got fallen into the clientele fucking format, is that realistically you're getting a spec bike, and per agreed contract you will get these upgrades because they know the upgrades between 23 spec A and 23 spec B.
So now when they sell it, it's a self-contained unit almost.
Almost, yeah.
Okay. Now I see what you're saying. I thought it was set different than that. All right.
So where it was before was that if Yamaha factory got a new exhaust and they liked it and they're going to stick with it, then the exhaust that the factory had would be given down to the satellite team, which was definitely an improvement from the exhaust that they had, because the factory had one step ahead.
Right.
But what I would believe will happen now is that there is built-in times of when people will get the thing. This could be thrown out the window now with Mark signing towards the
Yeah, I was
factory.
just about to say that. Now it makes sense when they're saying he might get the upgrades on the A bike.
So yeah, I would still think that he would get it. Now it will be interesting to see if he gets them after the summer break. Then we definitely know there is a plan in place for that, and that they're going to stick to the plan. If he turns out in the next race in Aston and all of a sudden has a fucking launch control device and
yes,
this, that, and the other, we know, okay. Now look, it makes complete sense what they've done, right? Why would you give Mark the closest spec to the 24 bike when he signed a 1-year deal with Ducati? Now the fact that he's committed to 2 years, he's no longer a threat of fucking off after a year, bringing all the data in his head to KTM or whomever, if you get me. So that thread is gone. So if they're going to release the hounds, they can now release the hounds with him, right? But for me, when I look at how they've done it with the satellite teams, you're now paying for a bike, and you're going to go, okay, spec A is from here to here, spec B is from here to here. If you want to continue with spec A for the rest of the season, that's fine. It's a lower cost. If you want to go to spec B, it raises the cost. And it's a very, very smart way of doing.
Yes. Now that's a better explanation you had yesterday, by the way. That's much better.
So that in my mind, that is how it's working. We will know very much so whether they took the option of 23 spec A all year or A to B. And now look, Mark, if he's in the title fight, I expect him to have pretty similar. Obviously, he won't have the same engine, but they could update his aero and all of that, Joe, because he will still have his one aero update. Through the season. So look, I think it's going to be pretty interesting what happens there. I will still find it incredibly funny if Jorge Martin wins the championship and takes number one to Aprilia. I think that would
I know.
That would just be fucking priceless.
I'm kind of root for that. You know what I mean?
I think everyone kind of does secretly. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think.
And by the way, I'm not a Ducati rooter. I just don't like to see him getting screwed by Dorna. But I would say that about anybody who was getting screwed by Dorna the way they do.
Yeah, but look, it is what it is. Look, Gigi's a smart guy as well, right? So they should punish somebody for being good, you know? Yeah, but it's not even just about that though. It's like when you look at the likes of Gigi, right? Gigi is no fucking pushover either, right? And let's just kind of say that, right? And while he concedes at times to Dorna, I can fucking guarantee you times where he doesn't move. Do you know what I mean? So look, I won't say that Gigi is like a soft little pussycat in the corner. Do you know what I mean? Gigi is a fucking lion when he needs.
Yeah, I think Gigi's he's the one jumping up and down. But then because I remember they were always bitching about it at the shop because they were the first ones that dealt with us, and they were the fast bike. And they're always, if we lose, they kick us out. We have no advertising. The Ducati, this is everything. The Ducati. That's the racing.
No, I think
for advertising.
Look, like you were right in an aspect of it, right? But I think the Ducati brand.
But that's what I'm saying. This is how Ducati thinks. You know what I mean?
If they left MotoGP now, let's just say they got pissed off and they left MotoGP, would it affect their? It would affect sales. I'm not saying it wouldn't affect sales, but I don't think it would affect the brand. Do you know what I mean? And that brand, back to MotoGP, it is going to be interesting week, I suppose, for Jack Miller as well. You know, like it's a very weird situation I see with Jack. It's really fucking weird, like when I look at Guidotti loves Jack to bits, adores him. Do you know what I mean?
Must be.
Gave him a chance. I personally think, and this is just my personal view, I think they gave Jack a 1-year deal, and Jack was like, "Nah, no thanks." And look, he's at the stage of his career that he needs a little bit of comfort now. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't, or else he doesn't need to be there. Do you know what I mean? But constantly going in and worrying about his ride and whatever.
But what they saying? I heard that through the grapevine. Now, isn't there whispering that he's going to go to Honda for 1 year?
They're saying a 2-year deal in Honda.
They're saying 2 years at Honda. Okay,
2 years at Honda. Like majority of the world it's kind of agreed that Mir is on his way out, and it's either Trackhouse Racing or Aprilia. Now, look, this is still the funny thing that I always love about things is, how would I say, everyone's arse is in everyone's seat about 4 times over. Do you know what I mean? Because there's so much still to go. But again, what you have seen is kind of all the majority of the aliens are tied up. So you've Martin, Pecco, Mark, Acosta, they're all tied up now. Do you know what I mean? It's
now kind of second tier guys.
The second tier, and then you'll have the good but not so great riders. What I really kind of worried about, if I'm very honest, is that there's no major change of guards. So, like Alicia Spagro has come out, and Fermin Aldegar has come in. I don't really see anyone else coming in, right? And I'll go out on a limb here. I think I have a feeling that Trackhouse are going to hold on to Raul. So if they hold on to Raul, that might be the end of Joe Roberts.
I give Joe Roberts. I mean, Raul's just done. I mean, I'm sorry, he hasn't proved himself.
So the only one you can really measure Raul against is his teammate, and he has beaten him. To be fair, you know.
Oliveira, I don't know what happened to him. I mean, he just.
I don't know. I think. I just think he had a torrid season last season, and maybe the season before, where he identified as a target on his own back, and got clung by everyone. And I think it's time. I think is what it is. Like, I don't think he has. It's not that he's old. I think he's had that scare, and now he's not willing to push it over the edge anymore. He's too respectful. Do you know what I mean? And he doesn't want the road necessarily rushing up to hit him in the face.
Yeah.
So look, I would be surprised if Oliveira stayed. I think he's definitely not getting a seat in the factory team. No. I would think. I don't think Raul has done enough to get into the factory team. But saying that, part of his contract would probably be beating his teammate, and finishing ahead of him, which he is. He is also still on the 23 chassis with the 24 engine, which makes no fucking sense to me. Still, I still can't understand it. Just give him a fucking 24 bike. You know what I mean? I'm sure you're not that tight in funds, and it costs the same to build a fucking bike anyway. So,
right.
If they're cheaping out over a set of fucking aerodynamics, they're in a big hole there, and which they're not if they sign fucking Jorge Martin. Let's be fair,
right?
And they're going to run full factory bikes for.
When they called, I thought that they had called the head of Aprilia to get approval. They called the head of the Piaggio. So.
Oh yeah. So they
wouldn't. Yeah.
Oh, they did. Look, that opportunity. Like, I still believe firmly that deal was in place. As in, this is how much it
cost. Sitting there at the ready, and as soon as it was done, boom, there you go. Send it.
Right, and it was like that call to to the boss was like, look, he's ready. We have the contracts pre-prepared. You know what I mean? Let's give him the once over. And I would think Piaggio Group solicitors would wanted to have a look at that. And I think they're the ones that were looking at it overnight. Proved it. Jorge Martin signed it, and whatever. And
I really wish Espargaro would stay 1 year.
I think it's time for him. I think it's time for him to go, though. You know, it would be terrible for Aleix Espargaro to come in, or for Martin to come in alongside Espargaro and Martin humble him. Does that make sense?
No, I could. Well, the thing broke
I think
up.
it would just affect things that are outside of the box.
The recording's breaking up. That's why.
So I think it would be best if. Is it? One sec. You there?
Yeah.
You there?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
So I don't know. I think I can hear you. I think it would be pretty weird. I get what you mean by him staying there, but I think it's right for him to go. It would be terrible if Martin came in and then absolutely hammered the shit out of Aleix Espargaro so bad. Do you know what I mean? I think he's right leaving at the right time.
You're thinking if he comes in and he if Martin annihilates
then
it makes Espargaro's former exploits look peasantly. Look like he didn't do much. Yeah.
Yep. And also, it'll also test their friendship. Do you know what I mean? Because they are friends outside it in the box, and we even saw that with Franco Morbidelli. And do you remember when he was a partner with Rossi, and he was starting to get jealous that Rossi was getting things before he was, even though the Rossi was on a full fucking factory contract, and your man was on a spec satellite bike. So I think when I look at things like that, I'm like, is it just better that he goes now, and he can still now say, "That's the bike I built." Whereas he's not getting his ass handed to him on the bike he built. You know what I mean? So I think it's kind of right that he goes, but I genuinely don't think a brilliant thought.
I'd like to see him just there, maybe even as a test rider, just for sorting things out, because he knows the bike.
It's all about money. At his stage of his career,
I don't think they have enough cash. I could see that too.
Well, it's not that they're not going to have it yet. They're not paying him. They're not going to pay him enough cash. You know what I mean?
He's already signed a con, didn't he? As far as
it's the rumor, as of today, Thursday. But
as a test rider.
As a test rider, they're paying him mega bucks to do it, and they're in a fucking whole pile of shit that's of fucking dinosaur level, you know what I mean? It is massive pile of poo,
Yes. It's funny when they said they all blamed the aero, then they said, you know what? Not the aero. The actual bike sucks. Now where do we start?
Well, so Pooch came out there recently and he said, that we don't have a solution. We don't have a direction. We don't actually know what's wrong. That's not Stefan Bradl's fault, right?
It's right.
It's not is Stefan Bradl the world's best test rider? Absolutely not. Is he fast enough to be a test rider? No, he's not. But although he was faster than one of the race riders.
Yeah, But even when the guys are being test riders, they're not engineers. They're not the ones that their job is not to figure out how the bike is going to change. How to fix the bike. It's the
Well,
engineers.
yeah, no,
They just
they're
help
they're
give
all,
the direction. You know what I mean? They just help
yeah.
the rider gives them the direction to go in. It's doing this. It's doing that. Fix it.
There's but for me, I think test rider is it's a little bit different than that, right? The test rider is not giving them a direction. The test rider is there as a confirmation. So you're putting a new type of wheel rim on, and this wheel rim is supposed to help giving you more flex going into the corner and more feel in the front wheel.
And
he goes out and he goes out and he tests that, and he goes into the corner this way, that way, the other way, to confirm is that true. At the end of the day, then he will run tests, race simulations, and he will say he'll start towards the end of the day on their factory current base setting, and he will go and he will try and hit a delta time every lap. Can you hit that lap? Do you know what I mean? And then he'll bring back, actually the new wave felt better. The old way,
right?
So it's not just necessarily, Stefan Bradl is developing the bike and bringing it a direction. He's not. He's testing the parts to confirm. Do those parts feel any better, worse, whatever? Like they did do a test recently. Bradl's collected a lot of data. He had positive comments about it. But the problem for Honda is that they've thrown so much shit onto the wall, right? I think it's layered now, and they can't figure out what's working and what's not working. What shit works and what shit doesn't work. And they're complete opposite to Yamaha. Yamaha haven't tested much. They put on a front wing. They put on they still haven't got to try their new engine, which is our new spec engine, which I believe is from Jerez. Do you know what I mean? So it's a feast or a famine. Do you know what I mean? And look, I actually start to feel sorry for Honda at this stage, right? Because they're so knee deep in shit. Like if you were in the desert, your balls would nearly be under the ground now. They're so deep into fucking dead. Do you know what I mean? And it's just like I don't get any satisfaction from watching a team. Right? I don't give a shit about the company, right? The company is the fucking company. That's the thing. But there's a load of fellas there trying their fucking best. There's riders there that are not bad riders. And I'll be fair, right? And they're made look like fucking dickheads. And that's me being polite.
Yeah. I dislike Honda, but I dislike their corporate their business methods and their shiftiness.
Yeah, but look, listen, look, the whole.
And they're worse than anybody else. It's not. I know what you're going to say, but they're worse than anybody else, and always have.
The whole racing community is fucking shifty, lads, and that's.
Yeah, but they're always been known and always have been known for being the shiftiest. Well, put it this way: after the old man died.
But look, to be honest, I don't really care about that right now. I see four definitely three really good riders, right?
Yeah.
And like, if you look at what's his name, does Nakagami have a championship? I don't know, but every single one of the Honda riders have a championship coming up through the thing, right? They're not dickhead riders, like, do you know what I mean? They're not like, oh, let's put fucking John Joe there on the bike, so he'd be grand. Do you know what I mean? But these guys come from a good pedigree, like, and they're made to look fuck a bit. Like, look at Marini, like fucking 2 seconds a lap off.
Yeah.
That's aching of a fella that can't feel the front of the bike, or is not gelling with the bike, or like.
I didn't think much of Marini, but he's not a guy that's to be dead last, for God's sake. He should be a top 10 guy,
But he's still, like, Marini's a world champion in Moto 2.
Moto 2.
He's not. Yeah, he's not slow. Like,
he shouldn't be dead last. As I said, he should be a top 10 guy.
Yeah, 15, top 10 to 15 on a Honda. Do you know what I mean? Top 10 in on a Ducati. That would be my thinking for Marini, right? Is he an alien? He's not. Is he anywhere near his half brother's gene set? No. But saying that, he's not a fucking tail end Charlie that gets fucking nearly lapped every race. Like, what was it? The last race there, he's like fucking 30 odd seconds behind. And you're like, might as well just fucking park it. Like,
Yeah.
There's no,
gold, you know what I mean?
yeah. There's no point.
Yes, you might as well get a gold wing and a cup holder. You know what I mean? Let him follow everybody around.
What is it? The famous saying: "You're not going fast enough to keep the brakes or tires warm." Pulling.
Right.
You know what I mean? But no, look, I think. Look, I do feel. I am by no means a Honda fan. I'm like in the Japanese war. I'm on the blue side, but
yeah,
for me, when I'm looking at it, I don't like to see any team that fucking last. And for me, Honda need to get rid of Pooch, and they need to find a GG.
Yeah,
and I don't think.
How do you work like that when you have the corporate head of racing, right? The corporate guy going, we're still going to do it Honda's way. Anyway, you look at it. Well, they say, well, your way's not working. You can't do it.
Honda,
So
Honda, but they have done it in the past, Jake, and that's the bit that I can't figure out, right?
Oh, I can, because listen, what they used to have was an alien rider that nobody could touch.
No. Forget about that. Forget about that. In whatever it was, 2004, when Honda bought whatever it was it Jaguar Grand Prix, I think, or one of them anyway. I can't remember. When Honda bought into the Formula One team, and they came and they brought Formula One, they set up base in the UK. The engines were built in Japan. The rest of the car was built and designed in the UK, right? And for years, the car blew up, and it fucking did this, and it did that, and it did the other, right? And Honda, a fella called Ross Brawn, very, very famous team principal, and head of strategy at the time in Formula One and car design and whatever, retired from Ferrari, and 2 years later, and he got pissed off at fishing, and he came back in as team principal in Honda. But he turned around to Honda and he said, "It's my way or the highway. So you're either hiring me,
right, exactly,
or you're right." And they went, okay. And his first year, I can't remember what it was. Was it 2007 or 2008? And they ran the car in the pre-season test at the start of the year. I think it was 2008. And he determined in the first 2 tests or 3 tests or whatever it was that the car was a bucket of shit, and that we shouldn't waste time, energy, and resources trying to develop that car this season. So they wrote off a whole season before the season even started. And then Honda, the financial crash happened. Honda sold the team to him. He had to jig a Mercedes engine into a chassis that was designed and built and whatever by Honda money, right? And they went and won the championship in their first year of it.
Okay, so it was a Honda chassis then, or then it was
a Honda chassis. But what my point is here is that there have been times in the history.
You're saying where he came in, but he said it his way. And I was listening to Dave Emmett, and he went, "No, Honda, when they're still pushing, their executives were saying, we're still doing it our way, and they're going to have to figure out how to do it our way." That's not the scenario that you just painted for me. You know, do you get me?
Yeah, no. That was that the car was designed and built.
Right.
Honda Japan had fuck all to do with the design and build it. They were to supply the engines, and that was it. So
I remember you saying, I laughed when myself. He said, "Well, they're hiring more Italian."
They are.
years. I said they're probably in the back with a tape recorder. Is what you got?
But they are, but majority of the teams now are recording what the riders say, and the mechanics are wearing the headsets, and you can see that. And that I think that's proper order. You know what I mean? So debrief comes in, they can get a proper translation done. But look, still, I still believe the fundamental design and mentality around building the bikes in Japan is wrong. Or it's not wrong. It's just out of date. You know, and
they're still doing the one house that they have a chassis house, and then they have an engine house, and then they have electrics house. They're all separated.
That is the same in every factory, right? But the problem is that the initial concept of the bike is in individual parts in Japan, where within the European manufacturers, the design team designed the bike, and the way the design of the bike is each house or section is to give us a part to a relative thing to incorporate a complete design. You look at the Honda and the Yamaha, and like if you go back 5 years ago and you look at how they put their aerodynamics on, it's after it bolted on, you know. Oh fuck, we need a front wing there. Joey, shove a wing there down the back. That'll do. Stick it on there with fucking duct tape and tie wraps, and sure we'll see.
No, this way. No, a little more. Give me that one. Yeah, okay.
Exactly, and that's it's not like it's not being disrespectful to them. It's just the ideology is that okay, we build a bike, we put the aero on it. Whereas when you look at the Europeans, everything is included in the whole design concept of the bike, and if you're changing the aerodynamics, they're questioning, okay, what is the downstream effect of changing that aerodynamics? Is this going to overheat? Is that going to overheat? So look, I think there's a lot there. But anyway, it's look, I was just looking at how deep and like realistically when Honda are saying we have no solutions because we don't understand the problems, you're kind of nearly halfway through the season and you don't understand where you're going. That to me tells me that next year's development of the bike is already in trouble, because right now you should have your direction to where you want to bring next year's bike. Because look, Misano isn't in 8 or 9 weeks or 10 weeks. So if you don't have that direction, you're going to be in serious trouble. So
I look at it like a snowball rolling down the hill. You start small and then it comes up. That's how development works. Well, if your snowball's this big, and it should be 4 foot in diameter, okay?
Yeah.
You've got some catching up to do.
Yeah.
The other snowballs are already rolling down the hill, catching, gathering moss, whatever.
Yeah. It's just like, I look, for me when I'm just looking at it, it's just a sad situation for both of them. Like Yamaha can't catch a break and get a fucking day of dry weather. Honda can't catch a break and find a fucking direction. Like they seriously need to do some serious ratings. Like Yamaha pulled off the raid of the century, I think, with taking Bertoloni. We know with Bertoloni, he will deliver. Do you know what I mean? Marmoni is delivering on that engine. Bertoloni is doing it as well. I must definitely try and reach out to Thomas O'Kane as well, actually, from Yamaha, and see if I can get.
Hey, I got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
What happened to our old German frame makers? We haven't heard from them in a while.
Alex?
Moto 2 frame designers that Honda hired. With Calix.
And the reason that you didn't hear from them is that Honda hired Alex from Calix. Didn't you know that?
But he didn't buy the whole factory, did he?
No. They bought their chief engineer, Alex from Calix. That's his name.
Yeah, but I mean, did they stop using Calix altogether?
Of course they did, because they hired the program manager from Alex from Calix. So he's now designing the Honda frames.
Well, I think they hired the wrong guy. Or hired a few more. Yeah.
No, they have Alex from Calix, but look, like he's on. By the but like he only came in the start of this year or midpoint of this year, so he's not going to have any influence yet. You know what I mean? That's why people do. But yeah, that's because people were all amazed that Honda were designing their own frame and there was nothing from Calix, and I was kind of like, well, maybe that's because you stole one of their project managers, and they said, well, fuck you now. Do you know what I mean? Why are we?
Yeah.
So which I thought would have been a standard thing, that it was in the contract that you're not. We will give you our people, but you're not allowed to poach them. Obviously, it's not. Anyway, and on that bombshell, Jakey Poo, I think we'll end up there today.
Going home to his wife going, those chinks just won't listen. Jesus Christ, in German.
I'd say he's having some fun. All right, yeah, with them. But on that bombshell, anyway, we will end tonight's show. We will see you again next week. Right. I will, and I'm having a weekend off YouTube. I've been told that if I touch fucking YouTube, I will get fucking murdered. So, laptop is staying at home. I will try.
You know, I take over, but I don't know anything about computers. So, that's your bailiwick.
Yeah, we should actually. I should actually get you to do a recording of a video one day and put it out there for the laugh. That'll be a fucking fun one. Here, Jake, say this. I'll have to write a script. I break
so many rules. Oh, can you see that?
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I'll probably get banned straight away. Anyway, on that bombshell, look, thank you all for joining, and we'll see you again next week.
Everybody go riding. We're here to hear you put some miles on the road too.
Ride your bike or ride your woman. Whatever you want to do, put miles on it.
Miles on it, yep.
Peace out.